Tell us about your job and your family.
Well, I work in mental health. I've been in mental health now for about 15 years. I now work with children and young people. I'm based in Carmarthen, and I work in a team where we do a lot around mental health promotion and preventative work, and work with all sorts of people who work with children and young people, youth workers, teachers, all sorts. Yes, I'm married to Chris, and we've got 3 lovely children, Jack, Lizzie and Annie, who are all very busy, and Jack and Lizzie go to Scarborough and Ammon, and Annie's in Lots of Tots nursery in Tugwythe for some of the week.
I think I should probably ask you what your name is as well.
Oh dear. I'm Julie, and I'm 37.
Have you always been a Christian?
No, I haven't. I didn't know anything about God, and my mum and dad sort of put me into Sunday school when I was 6. I think they thought it was a good idea. My dad's sister is a Christian, and her family. My mum and dad aren't, and so I went to Sunday school for several years. Quite enjoyed that. Didn't really understand what it was going on. Just sort of, nice stories, sort of aspect to it. And when I got to 14, I sort of rebelled and didn't want to go to church anymore. When I was 18, I went through quite a difficult time in my life. I was in a very volatile relationship. I left home very suddenly, and things were pretty awful, really. And I felt this strong pull, saying to me, why don't you go back to church? Go back to church. And after a couple of weeks I did. I went back to my home church, and there were lots of people there that I knew from when I was little. I was about 19 then, and people said to me, oh, come on, join the youth. And so very quickly I was sort of part of a whole new group of friends. I actually been one of the older ones. I actually ended up being one of the youth leaders. Feeling, I suppose, quite mixed up inside, having not understood sort of what was, that a bit was missing, even though I didn't realise this at the time. And I was talking to a chap one day, and he said to me, well, have you ever taken that step and given your life to Jesus? And I said, what do you mean? It'd never been really explained to me in those terms before. And he said, is this something that you want to do? And I felt very strongly that it was, and so that day I prayed the prayer and gave my life to Jesus, and I became a Christian. That was April 1990. And you can see now there's been a 17-year gap between becoming a Christian and the day of getting baptised.
Yeah, you're right, we let you off that one. What does it mean to you, being a Christian?
Being a Christian, to me, is something that's a central part of my life. It's not an easy part at all. It's something that I do struggle with and find quite difficult sometimes. It's something that over the years, more recently, I've started to tell other people about a little bit more. And I find that my walk with Jesus, it can be sometimes feel very close, and sometimes can feel such a long way away and be really difficult sometimes. I know recently someone in church said about, how far have you been sort of walking on the path, or have you been sort of nearly on the edge? And sometimes it can feel very difficult. But one area that for me has been really important the last few years has been prayer, and where I sometimes sort of struggle to get to meetings or groups. I'm just so glad that God's my dad, and he's there to talk to all the time about absolutely anything and everyone, and I just really love that. That's fabulous for me. Yes, I'd like to take this opportunity to thank everybody really at church for making us as a family so welcome, and I'm just really glad to be part of a church that is warm and friendly and quite relaxed. I don't really do kind of strictness and high church, and I'm just really glad that our church can be quite laid back and quite accepting, and accept that people do have struggles and things can be difficult for them. And when you've got 3 quite busy children, I'm just really glad that people can be, what's the word, just very welcoming and just accepting people for who they are. And we have an expression amongst some of us in church that babies and Bibles don't go together, and how hard it can be as a parent sometimes to mix in and feel that you're really leading a full Christian life. Trying to balance things and juggle things can be hard sometimes, so I'm just really glad to be part of a church that's that's very accepting of the humanness of Christians. I like that. So thank you, everybody.